morning and welcome to Mindful Movement with AARP Alabama. I'm your host, Margie Curry, and today's session is with the yoga instructor, Becca Impello. Everyone wants to remind you that AARP is empowering people to choose how they live as they age. AARP is a nonpartisan 501c4 organization with more than 420,000 members in Alabama. AARP's role is to advocate on their behalf, all of them, without regard to politics. Since the pandemic began, AARP Alabama has continued to provide opportunities for people to stay engaged from home. Mindful Movement provides an opportunity for you to keep moving in the safety of your own home. Becca,
Good
Happy
morning,
New Year.
Margie.
Glad to see you today.
Happy New Year, everybody. I'm glad to be back.
Tell our viewers today and let us know a little bit about what we'll be working on today.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just to remind everyone, my name is Becca Impello. I've been a physical therapist and a yoga teacher for a little over 20 years now. And my, specialty or my passion is really just making yoga accessible and beneficial to everyone's overall well-being. And so that's my background. And I'm going to lead you in a practice today that just helps us move and get the kinks out of our whole body. We'll do everything either seated in a chair or standing. You can use the chair if you need it for balance when we're standing, or if you don't happen to need that extra support, then you don't have to use it. But that's the gist of what we'll do. I'll be giving you choices and options so you can make the practice work for you and what you need.
Okay, and everybody, please remember, before you begin any exercise program, you should consult with your physician to be sure it's safe to participate. Okay, Becca, let's get started.
Okay, thanks, Margie. So it is New Year, right? It's the new year, and it's often a time where we may, be sort of making some resolutions or making some plans or trying to make some changes. And those are all really wonderful things to do, and I encourage that. We'll do a little bit of a yoga-oriented sort of New Year's meditation around resolutions at the end. I'll sort of give you my take on it. But I do want to remind everyone to be kind and grateful for your bodies. Even if you've gained a couple pounds over the holidays, you know what? It's okay. You probably enjoyed that time with your family and your friends and, indulging in those treats that come that time of year. So I want you to let go as much as possible of any guilt around that. And if you're deciding it's time to do some more exercise or change your eating or your diet habits, that's all great, but try not to do it from a sense of guilt. And we'll also want to be careful about our expectations, right? We want to have realistic expectations, set, small, realistic goals rather than something that's way out of your control. All right. But overall, like I said, I just want you to remember to be accepting and to be kind to your own body. And that's important as we go through our practice. So let's take a seat. Try to have your feet on the floor. I've got my socks on still today because it's a little chilly here in Alabama this morning. We've gotten a winter come to visit us here this week. So sit tall. Maybe close your eyes. We're going to do just a little bit of breathing to start with, okay? So I want you to just take your arms, let them drop down by your sides. And then on your next inhale, just bring those arms out to the side and up. You bring them as high as is comfortable for your shoulders. And then as you exhale, just turn the palms down towards the lap and gently drop the hands in front of your body. Okay, so do that with the timing of your breath. It may be shorter, it may be longer than mine. Inhale, sweep the arms up, big breath in. Exhale, slowly out and drop those hands down in front of the body. Keep going. As you exhale, see if you can start to sort of tighten your belly. Sort of bring your abdomen in, sort of squeeze. Inhale, let the belly be free, let it be full. Exhale, you can slowly pull that belly, that navel, the waistlines in, sort of like you had a drawstring around your belly and you're just kind of cinch it a little bit tighter. Now on that inhale, you let it go. So you can take that nice full breath in. We're going to do 3 more of these breaths and just see about getting the deepest breath that you feel comfortable with. One more of these big breaths. Nice. And exhale it all the way out. And then drop those arms down at your sides. And I want you just to start to circle your wrists. We're going to run through all the joints here and loosen everything up. And then we'll get up into standing and do some strength building, balance building type practices. All right, now let's roll the shoulders next. All right, shoulders come forward and up towards the ears, and then pull them back and down towards the waist. You can take a nice deep breath with this if you like, inhaling as those shoulders come forward and up. Exhaling as you squeeze them back and down. 3 more. One more. And let those arms rest at your sides. Turn the palms a little bit forward. And let's start to turn the head right and left. Now, any movement that I'm going to suggest or guide you in today, you can always make that movement smaller, bigger, medium. You've got to find the range that works for your body. Go ahead. 2 more times. Turn that head side to side. Notice how your neck feels. And then the next time that chin is over towards your right shoulder, we're going to take it down and across the chest. And over to the other shoulder and up over the top. And take that circle again. Up over the top. Pause at the top in reverse directions. Go to the other shoulder to start and across the chest. Gentle lift up of the chin. And one more time. Circle. And then bring that head back to center. All right, now those arms, let's warm up those shoulders a little more. Reach the arms forward and up. And then exhale, bring them down and back behind you as far as you can. So sweep the arms forward and up again. Remember, your movement might be smaller than mine. It might be bigger than mine. You're going to reach back, reach up, reach back, reach up. 2 more times. Good. Now let's leave the arms up. Take one arm down. You can hold onto the chair if you want, and then stretch it over to the side. So any amount of movement here, up and over. And then bring it back to center, both arms up. And then drop that other arm and stretch up and over. And then bring it back up. Okay, now bring the arms out to the sides, bend those elbows. Now, you could take those elbows all the way up to the shoulder height, or maybe they're down a little lower. So either way is okay. See where it works for you. All right, and then we're going to take the hands and bring one behind the head and one behind the back, and then bring them back out. And then the other way, one behind the head, one behind the back, and then back out to starting position. So you're going just behind that body as far as you can comfortably go. This helps us work on our shoulder rotation a little bit, just kind of keeping that mobility there. And it's important to be able to reach behind us, right? So we want to keep that mobility as best we can. Good. 2 more. And then drop those arms down and just give them a good shake. All right, sit up tall. We're going to twist the spine. So just sit tall, twist in one direction, and then release it back to the front. Sit tall, twist the other direction. Now you can bring that hand across to the leg or the knee if you want. Back to center. Twist again. And back to center. Twist the other way. Back to center. Now this time we're going to hold our twist and do a little bit more with it. So turn one direction. See if you can take that front hand across to the opposite leg or knee. The other arm behind you, it might rest on the top of your chair. It might go down to the bottom, the seat of the chair near your hip, or it can just reach out in space behind you. That's fine too. All right, keep lifting up through the chin, the chest, and turn that head back and forth. So we get just a little more movement for that neck Good. And then unwind it, bring it all the way back to the front. Now I just want you to pause a moment. Just take a breath. Just notice the sensation in your body, especially through your back from that twisting. All right, and then we'll go the other way. So lift tall, twist the other side. See if you can catch that outside of your leg or your knee with that forward hand. The other arm, maybe rest on the chair somewhere. Maybe reach back. Get nice and tall through the breastbone, and then turn that head. Turn it forward, sort of looking over that front shoulder, and then turn it back. Turn it forward. Turn it back. Good. And then let's unwind the twist here. Come back to the front. All right. Now let's loosen up the legs a little bit before we stand up. So pick up one leg, one foot, take it out in front, and then bend that knee, straighten it, bend it. Notice how that knee joint feels. It may be a little stiff or creaky if it's cold where you are. So just give it some time. Get a little blood flow, a little joint fluid moving there. Hold that foot forward now and give me a point and flex of the ankle. Circle that ankle, nice big circles. And go the other way. Good, and then other side. Take that leg, bend and straighten that knee a few times. Do it slow enough that you're in good control of your movement. We're not flinging that leg around. We're using our muscles to straighten and to bend. Good, take that leg forward and hold it out there. Point and flex. Give it a few circles. Go the other way. And then take it down. All right, we're ready to stand up and do a little bit more movement. So we're still going to use the chair for this first one. So everybody just have that chair where you can fold forward and just place your hands down in the seat of the chair, okay? And I'll walk those feet back a little bit. So it's like I'm in hands and knees, but I'm not getting all the way down to the floor. But I've got my shoulders over my wrists and my hips over my knees and ankles. All right, and then we can warm up and loosen up the back, the spine a little bit more. So we'll round it up towards the ceiling. And then flatten it out. It's important to bend your knees on this part at least a little bit, so that'll allow your hips, your sitting bones to tilt up. And then round it up towards the ceiling. And then flatten it out. A couple more times. See if you can get that upper back moving as well. Tuck the chin, round the upper back between the shoulder blades, and then flatten it out. Got about 3 more here. Good. All right, now we want to do a little bit more for the hips. So I want you to think about your hips tracing a circle. Push them over to one side and then back a little bit behind your feet, over to the other side, and then right back through the center where they started. And then over to the side, circle them back. Knees can be soft here. This should feel good. Again, your size of movement might be different than mine. Let's go the other direction a few times. Push those hips the other way to start, around the back of the circle, back through the center. Good. All right, now let's step the left foot closer to the chair and work that right foot back. Now you have some choices here. If you feel like you need the security, the balance, help of hands on the chair, keep the hands down. If you feel like you can bring those hands up, you can lift them up to the heart here. All right, so push into that back leg, get a nice squeeze in that glute. And I even encourage my students to reach back and touch. Is that muscle there firm? Gives you a better awareness of your body when you do that kind of thing, when you touch a muscle to see that it's contracted, or sometimes to see that it's relaxing. Good, now optional, take those arms and reach them up overhead if you want. No problem if you want to keep them at the heart, or you might still have them on the chair. That's good too. Let's take one more breath here. Exhale, and let's release those arms back down to the chair if they're up. And step in and just switch sides. So take the right foot close to the chair now and the left leg back. Again, your choice. Stay on the chair. Slowly get your balance and come up. Maybe bring the hands to the heart. Or again, you have that option to bring those arms up and overhead if you want. Now firm up that back leg. Maybe reach back and check that your glute is active. 2 more breaths here. Good, and then we're going to release it. Those hands to the chair if they're not there already. And then let's walk those feet back. Both legs are back. We're going to stretch back into those hips, lengthening out the arms, lengthening out the spine. It's okay if your knees are bent. Some folks may want to experiment with straightening those knees or pulsing in and out of those knees a couple times. This is a version of downward dog. I like doing it in the chair because it just really feels good. It's a little different type of stretch, and it's just easy for everybody to be able to do. All right, now let's walk it in. Let's come all the way up to standing. All right, let's roll those shoulders a couple times. Turn the head side to side. All right, now we're going to be at the point where you could use the chair or have the chair for security and for balance, but we don't particularly need it for anything. So maybe you're going to turn the chair, have the tall part of the back of your chair handy where you can touch it as needed. All right. So now we're going to take our Warrior One stance, and you can make this a long stance or you can make it a short stance. Okay. Let's put the left leg forward and the right leg back. Okay, so I've got my stance right here kind of short enough that I can get my heel onto the ground and stay connected to the floor. But you could take it a little further if you want and be on the ball of the foot. That's going to be a little bigger stretch here in the front of the hip. Also a little less balance. All right, so maybe you're going to keep those hands on the chair, or maybe you're going to reach them out in front of you. Now the left arm is going to do a little work for us, okay? Left arm is going to pull, and we'll twist a little bit to the left. That's where the front leg is. The front leg is the left leg. And then come back to center. Pull back, turning a bit with the chest, and then reach forward. Pull back. Reach forward. 2 more times, so maybe you're holding onto the chair as you do this pull. Last one. And then let's step it forward and pause. And just take a moment to notice how your body feels. Check in. Other side now. So we're going to step back with the left leg, have the right leg forward. Remember, you use that chair as needed. Step either long or a little shorter, depending on what feels right for you. Good. You can reach the arms forward or keep them on the chair. It's going to be the right arm this time that pulls. We'll pull with a little twist and then reach forward again. Look forward. Pull and twist. Reach forward. Pull and reach forward. 2 more times. Last one. And forward, step up, pause a moment, check in, see how things feel. All right, now we're going to do Warrior Two. So we'll turn sideways and step out wide. All right, again, that chair is there if you need to hold on to it, hold on to it. All right, let's go to the left leg first again. So I'm going to turn the right foot a little bit in and turn the left toes and the left knee out, and then I'm going to take it into a bend of that front knee. And again, you might decide to take this a little shorter stance or go a little longer stance. So that longer stance sitting lower is a little more work, okay? Now, so a little less easy to balance. So see where you need to be. And then arms come up. Now remember, you can keep a touch on the chair at any time, all right? Straighten those arms and reach them out nice and long. Good. And then you can either use your chair or that front thigh or knee to rest your hand or your elbow on, and take this top arm and swing it up and towards the ear or right above the ear and stretch long on that side. So remember, it might look like this if I'm using the chair. And bring it back up. Good. Turn those legs, step them in a moment, shake it out. All right. You're going to do the other side. You could use the chair, or maybe you don't need to worry about it. Step out wide. We'll go the other direction. So the left toes turn a little bit in. The right toes, knees turn out. Bend that knee. Good. And just again, find how deep you want to sink into this. Okay. Reach out through the arms. Could be one arm on the chair and the other arm reaching. Good, nice strong legs. We'll take it into that little side stretch now. So hand or elbow down on the knee or the thigh, or stay on the chair, and you can reach that other arm up towards the ear. Good, take another 2 breaths here. And then bring it back up. Straighten that knee, turn, walk those feet in. Good job. All right, we're going to sit back down, do a few stretches for the hips and the legs. All right, so come back to your chair. Sit towards the front edge of it for me. All right, we'll start with a little bit of a hamstring stretch. So take 1 foot forward, toes up, heel on the ground. All right, sit tall. You might want to lean forward, in which case, make sure you're secure in your chair. I like to reach back and hold the sides of the back of the chair just to keep my chest open and to keep me from tipping forward too much. If you don't feel much of a stretch in the back of your leg, that just means that really you need your foot up a little higher. It could be put up on a set of blocks or a couple of books or something like that in the future to give you a little bit bigger stretch. All right, let's bring it back up. Bring that foot in, stretch the other leg out, toes up, heel on the floor, sit up nice and tall, and maybe lean forward. So for some of us, maybe there's a stretch just with trying to straighten the knee and get the toes up, and you don't need to particularly lean forward. Good. One more breath. And then release it and bring it up. All right, let's do our hip glute stretch next. So this is where we'll cross one ankle to the knee, okay? Now remember, you can make your knee a little lower, maybe a little easier to cross by straightening that leg that's doing the supporting, okay? Or you can cross lower. You can cross on the shin or on the ankle if you need to. But anything that gets you turning that one leg so that the inside of the thigh and the inside of the knee is turning up. And then you sit tall. Again, you have the option here to lean into this a little bit depending on your hip, right? So some of us aren't going to need to lean forward because crossing the leg is enough. And take a couple breaths. Once you find a stretch that you're good with, breathe into it. Breathe out. Good. And then go ahead and come on up and let's switch sides. So crossing that other ankle to knee. Maybe you're crossing a little bit lower. Each side might need a different position. And then there's that option to lean into it a little bit. Good. One more breath. And release it. Uncross that leg. Now let's take the arms out to the side. Sit up nice and tall. We're going to give ourselves our hug today. So reach those arms across the chest. Wrap those hands, those arms as far back around your upper back as you can. Take a nice deep breath in between the shoulder blades. Maybe drop that head and curl slightly forward. Now notice which arm is on top. And then spread those arms out nice and wide and back. Take a deep breath in. And then wrap those arms, the other arm on top or over the chest again. Deep breath into that upper back. Maybe a little rounding or rolling forward. And then come on up. Drop those arms down into your lap. Maybe scoot back if you want or get more supported in your chair. We're going to just finish up with just a little short guided meditation. And like I promised, I was going to share with you sort of one perspective from the yoga tradition on how we might approach kind of our New Year's goals or resolutions. So from the yoga tradition, the body of yoga philosophy really looks at setting what's called an intention. Okay, so an intention is less goal-oriented, less specific about a certain outcome, because to be honest, we can't really control those outcomes. But what we can control is our approach to what we're doing with our lives, right? So we can control to a degree our own intention around it. Okay, so an intention is sometimes considered a direction, a quality that you want to bring, a characteristic that you want to cultivate, okay? And so one of the things that I like to do with myself, my own practice, and my students is to put it into a phrase, real simple, that is states, I practice blank. Okay, so you might take a moment just to think, what are some things that you want to practice here in this new year? Do you want to practice more self-care? Do you want to practice more movement? Do you want to practice more gratitude? Maybe you want to practice being more patient or being more disciplined. Okay, so one thing that you can do is just sort of maybe get 2 or 3 things there that will complete that sentence, and you can use them as a simple little mantra. And so that's what I want you to do right now to close out our session today. Is I want you to maybe think of at least one thing that you would like to practice in the coming weeks or months. Okay, and I want you just to call that quality, that thing to mind, and then repeat it to yourself. I practice gratitude, or I practice self-care. Okay, and just take a few breaths where you let that phrase kind of percolate inside of you. And as you're contemplating, maybe something else is going to arise and you're going to think, oh yeah, I'm also going to practice this other thing. Just repeat that phrase to yourself, or maybe it's a couple of phrases. I practice. It might also be a good idea to write that phrase down. Put it on a Post-it note or put it on a card or a piece of paper, and then just post it somewhere in your house or your car or on your computer, somewhere where you'll see it often. And then every time you see it, you can pause, take a breath, and repeat that to yourself, reminding yourself that one of your intentions is to practice this quality or this characteristic. All right, let's take one more breath together as we close up our session today. Just reach the arms forward and up. Exhale, bringing the hands to the heart and just bowing the head with a little bit of gratitude. Remember to be thankful to your own body for participating in mindful movement. Gratitude that we've made it to a brand new year and we have some new opportunities. And gratitude to AARP of Alabama for continuing to bring us these mindful movement opportunities. Thanks, everyone, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thank you so much, Becca. And we do appreciate you bringing to our mind what we need to practice and how we can involve that. Thank you so much. It's very good for us.
You're welcome,
everyone for watching in. Thank you for watching today and joining us today. And we look to see you again on Tuesdays at 10 o'clock for Mindful Movements. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye, everybody.